do about that to Congress? Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley. He sits on the Intel and Judiciary committees. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning. The Appropriations is my other committee.
Oh, is that?
Thank you.
Well, oh, you're busy, okay? I'm sorry I didn't get all your credentials in that intro, but we only have so much time. Congressman, what now? What this morning? For voters, let's say Democrats who feel frustrated by everything they've heard and read in those 400 pages of all of the wrongdoing, what does Congress do now?
Look, I think the American public is curious. This is a sample from the report. Isn't anyone curious what's in the rest of this document that was redacted by the Attorney General?
Well, Judiciary Chair Nadler
does anyone trust?
I mean, he's trying to actually subpoena. This morning, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, has is planning to today subpoena those 36 pages that you just held up.
Certainly. I think we need to, it's hard to imagine anyone trusts the Attorney General after his performance so far, that he would redact this fairly and appropriately. Would certainly like to know about that. Certainly like to know about those 14 referrals that the special counsel made on other potential criminal wrongdoing. And this began as a counterintelligence investigation, finding out whether or not the President of the United States was compromised. This report, the redacted report, ought to make people curious about that. If the President was willing to do at least 10 instances of obstruction, how far would he go in terms of being compromised to other foreign governments?
Congressman, are you saying that you think that there's going to be a bombshell in those pieces of redaction that you just held up, those 36 pages? When you read around those, around the margins of those, you really think that there's something in there that you're going to be able to hang your hat on and then move forward somehow with changing the equation and the president?
Look, I think the redacted portions are bombshells. The President of the United States, I believe, obstructed this investigation. And the only reason it wasn't worse is because of two things. The special counsel is extraordinarily fair. I think he still could have found, I think he told us, he still could have had a finding of obstruction, but in fairness to the President and the fact that he couldn't go to court to defend himself, he didn't do that, and he left it to Congress. So I think what you're going to find in the redacted portions is more of the same, and that ought to be enough for the American public to appreciate just how profound all of this is.
What did you think about Attorney General Barr's press conference yesterday?
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that you just had some of my Republican colleagues on. I think it would be funny if it wasn't so tragic to compare them to Frank Drebin, nothing to see here, and then again launching into an attack on their own process. The bigger picture here is everyone in the intelligence community with a high level of certainty agreed. The Russians attacked our democratic process to help one candidate and hurt another. Special counsel agreed with that. And how did the Republicans respond? By joining in the attack on their own country. I've watched the kinds of things they're threatening to do for over 2 years now. They have come absolutely nothing. But what they've done is permanently impact the integrity and the independence and the ability of not just the Justice Department, but the intelligence community to keep us safe, all to protect the President politically and legally.
Congressman Eric Swalwell wrote this on Twitter. Russia attacked us. The Mueller report details a multiplicity of contacts between Russia and Donald Trump's team, and that Trump and his team materially impaired the investigation. Yet, our Attorney General acts as Trump's defense attorney. He cannot represent both. Barr must resign. Do you agree?
I don't think that the Attorney General ever should have been put in that place. I think it was apparent that he had already made up his mind when he wrote this 19-page memo arguing against the theory of law necessary to find obstruction. It's noted in this memo, this report that came out yesterday, the special counsel specifically disagrees with the Attorney General on that matter. He was wrong. People knew it ahead of time, but he went forward lying to the American public about what was in this report, trying to be not just his special counsel, but also his chief of PR, his press counsel, holding a press conference furthering that lie and trying to protect the President of the United States. The Justice Department's independence has been extraordinarily damaged by its own Attorney General.
So you want him to resign?
Well, I think he never should have been put in place.
But, I mean, he is there.
He never
And
should
so
have
if
been
you're saying he
approved by the
doesn't
Senate, and he
respect the
should
DOJ
resign.
Tell me again.
I think he has extraordinarily damaged the Department of Justice. He never should have been there. He should resign. My saying that will do absolutely nothing. All I can do is make sure that we find out the rest of what the American public has a right to know and move forward in an attempt to never have something like this happen again.
Congressman Mike Quigley, we appreciate getting your perspective this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Chris.
Take care.
All right, different story.